seems legit.
Alrighty, we are going to do a super fast penny pouch by Hemazing Bags and Patterns. So I have just used a scrap piece of bright lime green vinyl, and then I used some glitter vinyl in black, because again with the scrap, and some scrap cool, it's skull paisley, just for something different. So we're going to start with the flap, which is the smallest shape, and we're going to put right sides together. And then just turn my machine on and down to a 2.5 stitch length. And I'm just going to stitch around. Like so. And back stitch at the end. And then I'm going to take my zigzag scissors and just trim off all of the excess, really. Oh, so I've missed a little bit in this corner, so I'm just going to come back and do there, like that, just because it missed a little bit more than I would like. Right, so then we're going to turn this right sides out. So I'm going to put my fingers in like the corner bits and push, and then I'm just going to scratch my fingernail along that seam to pull it all the way out. Love it. So now I've got beautiful bats. So this was done in a 4x4 hoop. So I did lime green or electric green or whatever it is, neon green for these bats. And the other bats are done in a very, very dark green. So that's our little flap now. Love it. So then we need to do our slip pocket, which is the next smallest one. So I'm going to put right sides together again, like that. Making sure it lines up. This is being a little bit slippery. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab some Wonder Clips to hold it, because it's being naughty. Even though it's little, it doesn't want to play ball, so it doesn't get to defeat me. I'm also using my dodgy roll of black thread, so sometimes I have to help it unravel. It's close to the end and it's just been wound a bit weird, but that's all right. So I'm going to fold this back. And then I'm going to top stitch. So I'm going to go up to nice long top stitch length, because we will see this bit. And back stitch, because I can't help myself. We should always back stitch. So slip pocket now goes over here. But I don't want to stick it down yet, because I think I want to put, I can't decide if I want to put a magnet or not. I haven't quite decided there. So, maybe a press stud, but is it going to wreck my bats? Right? Unless I put it like right in the center, kind of there. So, let's grab our press studs. Where are the black ones? I really need to reorganize all of my drawers. They're getting a bit out of control. So I've got those ones, but they're a bit heavy duty for what we're doing. They're the 201 press studs, and I'm thinking more along the lines of a snap fastener. These are all mixed up, lucky me. So we're just going to get out, I'm going to get out gunmetal grey, because that's kind of the theme that I've got going on here. And then we need one of those. So these are 12.5 mil. So we're going to fold it in half and then find the center, and I'm just going to put a little crease in the vinyl. Don't be too stressed, because we're going to have to turn this inside out, so it's going to get creased anyway. And then we're going to lift up the back so that we're not going to see it. We're only going to put the press stud through the vinyl layer, not all the layers. So then in the center, on my center fold, which has disappeared already, and pressed it, whole at least. So then I'm going to put in the back piece. Actually, no, that'll be fine. If this is a bit thin, you can put a little square of interfacing. I do that sometimes. And then we're going to grab this piece and line it up so that we know where we're putting our other bit. Looks like right in between all the bats. So I eyeballed that really, really well. So this is going through all the layers, like that. And then we put that one through the top. See, and it goes around the bats. I promise that that was a fluke. I did only eyeball it, I didn't precisely measure it. So, back to my case of different attachments. Now, if you don't have this attachment, just put a magnet. You don't have to do this, but this is just something fun that I felt like making in the spur of the moment before I pick my child up from school. So, we're going to put that half up there, put this half in the bottom, and squish it together. So that's one end, and then we take these bits off, and we put in the other end. I do a lot of switching of this stuff, but that's okay. Right, and then I'm going to put this part up in here, pull back my backing or lining, and then squish that one on. Done. And then I always put them away because there is so many. I can tell what they are, but if you put them away in order, it's quicker to tell what they are. And that just comes from overuse. Okay, so now that that's in, we can take the half that I didn't embroider on, because it is my mission this year to see how many things I can embroider and use up some of that thread, but in good positive ways, not by just wasting it. And this is really cute. So, line up the corner. We're going to add some clips because it's being slippery, and I don't want to play that game today. And you want all your clips to face up, like that. So now just within the seam allowance, so I'm going to do it at 1/8 of an inch, out of a weird habit that I have. And basting the two layers together, so you won't see this stitching, so it doesn't matter if it's not straight and perfect. It's just going to hold the layers together, like so. Trim off the tails, as always. And then I'm going to take the flap, press it down, line it up, baste it as well. And back stitch, again out of habit. Now I did it a little bit up because I wanted it to sit there. I could have put the press stud up higher or down lower, but that worked out pretty close. And I'm just going to trim off that excess bit, which is not very much. So that is now the back panel. So now we should be down to 4 panels and your zipper. You can do a couple of different things with your zipper. Firstly, I do need to singe it because it is fraying and that's not cool. So I'm just going to get my lighter, singe that down on both ends, like that, and install my zip. So this one is just a random one I found in my drawer. It's a loner. I don't have any more like it, or at least at the moment that I can see. So it felt like a really good time to use this one up because it's black. It's not actually gunmetal. Not that that's going to matter. Right, zipper on. Excellent. So now you can either turn the ends out, or I'm just going to take some more of the scrap vinyl. This is literally the last bit of it. And I'm going to cut some zipper tabs. So by doing that, I'm just cutting it the width of the zipper, and then I'm going to make it the width of the zipper again to make a square. And you can do this without a ruler, apparently. Look at that. More scrappy bits. So, double-sided tape, because double-sided tape is always your friend. Down the center. And down the center. Or roughly the center. Doesn't have to be perfectly the center. Just wherever. I'm going to peel off those backs. And then throw the rubbish in the bin. Because I'm trying to keep my space tidier. It will never be perfectly tidy. It's not who I am. But I am trying. Right, so I'm going to push that on the end. So I'm putting the zip as far back as I can. And then sticking it on like that. And you should just be able to pinch it on. If it's being stubborn, grab a Wonder Clip and clip it on so it can't move. Whatever works for you. And then I'm just going to stitch over the end. I'm using 1/8 of an inch from the raw edge. And then I can just spin this one and chain stitch it, because we all know I love to chain stitch. And I'm not worried about back stitching on these because they will be going into a seam. So they'll be fine. Adorable little zip. So now we just construct things the way we always do. So we're going to go right side up, clip it on. Now if you didn't want to do zipper tabs, you could have just made it go all the way into the seam at the side. That also would have worked. Right, clip it on. So this zip's going the correct way that I want. So I'm going to put the back on. So I've just put the same embroidery, but I put it on an angle to be funky, is where I was trying to go with that. This was just a random free design I found somewhere in the internet. Unfortunately, I don't know exactly where, but it'll be what, one of those sites that gives you some free options. I'm just going to zip the zipper out of the way. And we're going to back stitch. And then I'm going to pull back just the exterior and top stitch. So I'm going to go up to a top stitch length so that it looks fabulous. And back stitch because I can't help myself. Trim, trim. Fold that down just by hand, and then we're going to grab the other one, line it up, clip it on. Same process over and over. And then we're going to take the front with the little cute pouch part, and we're going to put that one right sides down and clip it. And we want to make sure that that zipper pull is not in the seam, because then you'll stitch it and then you'll snap a needle. And I already did that once today in the previous video. Alright. So this, because again, we're against a zipper. So we're just going to do a 1/4 inch seam. It's always 1/4 inch against a zipper. For anyone that doesn't yet know that, if you're super new to sewing, it will be a 1/4 inch seam. Right, and then we're going to turn it. We're going to fold back just the exterior. We're going to open up the pocket because I want to stitch this up underneath, not on top. So we don't want to stitch the little flap. We're going to stitch underneath it. Like that. Beautiful. Now you can close that again because that's no longer our concern. I'm going to open her up so that we can get into it later. And I'm going to cut off one of my fabric tags. And we can put the fabric tag on the inside. So I just fold it in half. And I'm going to put it inside the lining. So I'm just going to line it up along a side and clip it on. So I'm not really worrying too much where it is. It's down about... It's about 3/4 of an inch from the seam. Right, so just in. You don't want it too far up the top, it'll get stuck in the zipper. So then we're going to line up the bottom of the lining, and I'm going to put one clip at each corner because we're going to leave this bottom bit open to turn. And then I'm going to come and start on the vinyl end. Now I didn't put any interfacing on the vinyl because it is plenty thick enough for something this size. Clipping it down. I want to use that clip to hold all the layers together. Now you can use as many clips as you want. Lots of clips just means it's more stable. There is no magic number of clips on anything. Use more. Don't be afraid to use your clips. That's why we have them, to get better sewing. Sometimes the less clips you use, the worse off you are. So just keep that in mind. So I'm leaving this end open. So I'm going to start here. And I'm going to sew around and then finish at the other clip. That's why I didn't clip the very bottom. And I'm just going to do, now the different seam allowance will just mean a different size pouch. So you can do a bigger or a smaller seam allowance. That's up to you. I've got to get past my zipper tabs because I did that. And then we're just going to continue around. Now there's 3 layers of vinyl and some interfacing and fabric here. So you don't want to go too fast. You might snap a needle. Nobody wants to play that game today. I'm also trying to go past that other zipper tab. So sometimes you just have to go a bit slower there. And then back stitch. And trim off the tails. And then again with our beautiful zigzag scissors. Because we want the corners to curve nicely. And the easiest way to do that is to use your zigzag scissors. Now this is a lot of layers. These are true champions, these scissors. Absolute champions. Right. Here's the tricky bit. Because this is such a firm vinyl, I now have to get it to turn through the lining without damaging it too much. So I'm just starting with one corner at a time. I'm getting the lining over the whole thing, and then I'm going to reach in and slowly pull at it. You don't want to pull too hard and too quick. You may damage it beyond repair, and we don't want that. My kid loves bats, so I'm thinking that this is going to be his. But these, if you do craft fairs, these would be really cute. You could do them in like kids' designs for a little pouch for them. Alright, so I've got it to this point, which looks really messy, but I'm going to take my pokey stick, which is a flute cleaner, like the instrument. It's a wooden flute cleaner. It works for what I need it to do. And I'm just going to push on the seams. And I kind of twist it, I kind of grind it in. And I don't know why, but it works. Every time. And then I'm just going to push the zipper tab so it pops up. And then same with the other side. I've still got to do some more in that corner to push it out. And then I'm going to use this as like a lever to pop out the zipper tab because I want it poking up, not poking down, like that. Clip that on there, and we're nearly done. I'm just adding something a little extra on the end because I feel like being very extra today. So, this is now what we've got. So we just want to tuck in that raw edge and stitch it shut. Now, if you can't hold it shut, that is totally fine. You use clips and use your Wonder Clips to hold it in place. Another place you could put your tag is here, although I do find that sometimes it annoys people when it's in the bottom and they're more likely to cut or rip it out. and I don't want that. So if it's in the side, it's kind of tucked away out of the way, but it's still on there. And how quick and cute is that? Now, because I'm being very, very extra, my kid's going to go nuts for this. I made, this is a bat earring made out of glitter and resin, because I'm a little bit obsessed with resin at the moment as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cut this zipper pull off. So I'm thinking that the easiest way to do it will be just to cut the metal like that, open it up and take it off. So I don't need that one because I've got my own. Then I've got 2 jump rings, which are like little circle rings. So I'm going to put 2 through the hole to make it extra secure because I just don't trust the one. And then I'm also going to clip it onto the zipper like this. So that's one. I'm going to do a second one. So I need to open it. So you just pull each side till it kind of opens. And then I'm going to go through there and through the resin pull. Whoops. Unless I drop it. And then squish those together again. And so now I'm not super happy with how much gap there is under that end. So I'm also going to squish that. So I'm just going to open it up so I can get in there. I'm going to take my pliers, move the bat out of the way, and squish the zip down so that it's basically touching the back end. And that way there will be absolutely no space for it to come open. Like that. Yes. So see how there's no gap now under here? So now I'm not worried about my little bat pull coming off. How cute is that? Oh my God. So what did that take? 22 minutes, start to finish. Not including the embroidery, of course, but these would be super cute. You could production line sew them because that would be even quicker. You can see it's sitting up a bit. I will need to give it a good Tory squish, but how cute is that? I love it. And then it's got the little bit at the side. So even if you have only a small embroidery machine, this was done in a 4x4 hoop, and you can clearly see it doesn't even take up all that space, but it does enough to look amazing. So there you go, guys. Under half an hour project. All right, I'm gonna go now. Bye.